Now, after my San Quentin stint, they sent me to Susanville, preparing me to, go prepare to fire camp. Now, you gotta go a couple of spots you go to prepare fire camp, and Susanville and Jamestown is one of them. And I went to Susanville. Wanted to go to Jamestown because it's close to the house, and they sent me to Susanville. And anybody ever been to Susanville? One of the worst prisons ever in California got, man. Ran by the white folks out there, and when it's cold, it's cold. When it's hot. It just, man, Susanville sucks, man. And the way the cops run their program out there, man, it's like it's all geared towards hating on some niggas out there in Susanville, man. It's just, but anyway. So they sent the nigga to Susanville. So now, granted, again, I hadn't been in prison for years and shit. So, trying to figure out the new prison politics. I told y'all that, now people are calling each other niggas, N-words, everybody using it and shit. And back when I was in prison at first, you couldn't use that shit. So that was something different. White dudes is asking brothers for stuff and talking to brothers, really mingling with brothers like way more than what I remember they used to. And so everything's a lot different. So when I go to Susanville, they put me in this one dorm. And I'm used to, the northern Mexican brother having an alliance, a sort of an alliance, And I didn't know about what was going on in the prison, systems and shit. And so I remember they put me in this one dorm, and I'm on the top bunk, and the bottom bunk is empty. And they said, the bottom bunk to the locker. So Susan dorm is a lot of dorms. Susanville is dorm living. I was on forgot Cascade Yard, whatever one of them yards is and shit. But so I'm in the dorm, and they put me on the top bunk of this one bunk, and it looked like the guy was still there. The bottom bunk was empty, but the bed was made up. It looked like somebody was still living at it. Housed at this bunk, but they wasn't there. And I asked the two brothers. There was only two brothers in the dorm. Also, every time you go to prison, and California penal system, I don't know if it's just California, but niggas is always outnumbered, just always outnumbered. So it was only three brothers up in there. You have some northern Mexicans in there, and you have some white boys. I don't know if you had any southern Mexicans in there, and white boys ran with the southern Mexicans, and I thought the Norteños ran with the brothers and shit. And so mind me, the two brothers tell me that the guy, the brother who bunked, that is, he went out to court. He'll be back. That's why his stuff is still there. All his locker was filled up and everything. Got his lock on it and all this old type stuff. And shit was still there and shit. So I took the top bunk, and it was like, no, OG, take the bottom bunk. You can take the bottom bunk. He ain't coming back. Whatever. Wop wop wop. All this old stuff and shit. And I said, man, I ain't touching nobody's stuff and shit. You know what I'm saying? Whatever, whatnot. And so I think they grabbed this stuff and put it on the top bunk and all this old type stuff, and and just kind of like, OG, take the bottom bunk. And these are two youngsters and shit, they was both from the LA area, and they were just real jolly and cool with the white boys and Mexicans. I'm checking out the whole situation and shit like this and shit, and I'm on the top bunk and shit. You know what I'm saying? And so the white boys, they came and was like, they wanted the bunk or some shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, y'all can't have this bunk, this brother's bunk right here. You know what I'm saying? He coming back and all this old shit. I'm like, y'all can't have this bunk. But the other two brothers, they was cool with the white boys. It was the white boys or the Mexicans. It was the white boys. They wanted the bunk. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm just on the bunk by myself and shit. They they wanted to move somebody in there. One of their peoples up in there. And but I'm like, no, y'all can't have the bunk. This brother's coming back. But the other two brothers was cool with the white boys and stuff. They had been there a couple of months. however long they had been there, you know, and they were all cool with the white boys and the Mexicans up in there. And so I'm like, you know, no, y'all can't have the motherfucking bunk. You know what I'm saying? This is a black bunk, you know what I'm saying? All this old shit, you know what I'm saying? If anything, we'll get another nigga up in this motherfucker, get our numbers up, because only 3 of us up in that motherfucker. And so it was kind of like a little issue and shit, you know what I'm saying? The brother was kind of like on the white dude's side. I'm like tripping on this shit. I'm telling the youngsters, no, we don't give up bunks. You know what I'm saying? It's a black bunk, you know, take them to the side. We don't do that shit, you know what I'm saying? That ain't prison politics. We don't do that shit. We ain't giving up this bunk to these motherfuckers. If anything, you know what I'm saying, we get a war started over this goddamn bunk. You know what I'm saying? And so they was like, well, it's cool, OG, you know what I'm saying, whatever, whoop the wop, you know what I'm saying? And so that was that. That was that. And so I go out to the yard one day and I tell some other brothers and shit that I knew out on the yard and shit situation. You know what I'm saying? Just to get everybody heads up and shit like that. They're like, yeah, nigga, don't give up no goddamn bunk and shit, whatever, whoop wop. So, but I come back, and one dude moved over my bunk. One of the brothers moved over my bunk, and another brother moved over there with the Mexican bunk, on the Mexican bunk. Now, he over there with the Mexicans. Now, that's a Mexican bunk that he moved to, you know what I'm saying? And so, they, you know, in prison, they got them sectioned, you know, they got, you know, how many black bunks there is, how many Mexican bunks there is. They got it all. You know what I'm saying? It's all paperwork and shit like that. So he's on the one brother moved to the Mexican bunk. I'm like, what the fuck? So I come back, all this weird shit going on. I'm like, what the fuck? You know what I'm saying? And they done moved, remember I told you they moved the brother stuff. You know what I'm saying? I don't know where they moved the brother stuff to that was at the bunk. They moved this stuff somewhere, whatever, whatnot. So that was that. And so, and I'm telling these motherfuckers, y'all motherfuckers some weenies and shit. You know what I'm saying? I don't really call them weenies like that, but I'm like, y'all motherfuckers, y'all not supposed to, oh, it's cool, OG, I'm cool. You know what I'm saying? Whatever, whatnot. All right. So, but at first, you know what I'm saying? At first, well, during this time, you know what I'm saying? We up in there and shit. So I remember it was a little weirdness going on in there. So I go holler at the Mexicans and shit, the northern Mexicans, and I said, if anything go down, you know what I'm saying? Whoop-de-whoop, you know what I'm saying? Just holler at me, you know what I'm saying? I got y'all back, and you know what I'm saying? We got y'all back, you know what I'm saying? Because I kind of like started playing like the leader of the little section and shit, like, because them youngsters, they didn't know what the fuck to do. And the Mexican looked at me crazy and the motherfucker, like, you know what I'm saying? Whoop, you know what I'm saying? Okay, you know what I'm saying? Whoop. You know, and weird, you know what I'm saying, that he wasn't like, yeah, you know what I'm saying, you know what I'm saying, I got y'all back, you know what I'm saying, what's up, it's up, you know what I'm saying, we cool like that. But he kind of looked at me weird, so I was kind of weirded out about that, you know what I'm saying, that was, you know what I'm saying, I ain't been in penitentiary in years and shit, so I don't know the new rules and shit, what's going on. So, but anyway, so later on, about a month later, a couple of weeks later, how long it was, the brother, whoever bunk it was, you know what I'm saying, came back. Right? Ended up being a cool brother. Ended up being a brother from the Bay Area. I forgot the nigga name. My boy. You know what I'm saying? He was from San Francisco and shit. So he comes back and shit. And he like, well, what the fuck is my bunk? You know what I'm saying? Whoop-de-wop. You know what I'm saying? And you know what I'm saying? I say, hey, bro, I don't know you and shit. I said, but these brothers let these white boys move your shit. I told the motherfuckers, you know what I'm saying? Hey, you know what I'm saying? This nigga might be coming back. Plus, it's a back bunk. And this Bay Area nigga goes off. You know what I'm saying? And so we get ready to get into it with these white boys over this bunk, you know what I'm saying? And the other boy, you know what I'm saying? Well, before even the boy comes back, right? The Bay Area kid comes back. I was finna get into it with the white boys, and the brother that was over there with the Mexicans, that moved over with the Mexicans, he was just too jolly, just running around with this flip-flops on and shit. We don't do none of that shit. Like, what the fuck? You know what I'm saying? We don't do that shit. You know what I'm saying? And so I tell them, motherfucker, get your motherfucking boots on. They have your boots on. We might get into it with these motherfucking white boys, nigga. Over this goddamn bunk, you know what I'm saying? Just be ready and shit. The motherfuckers is gullible than a motherfucker. And so when the Bay Area kid comes back, you know what I'm saying? And two brothers, they really didn't want to fight, the LA brothers and shit. And they wasn't in Miami, and they wasn't banging. They wasn't banging, but I think they kind of slightly ran with the Crips a little bit. But these two brothers wasn't banging. They were just like some non-affiliates and shit. It was kind of like just, I don't know. They was game goofy. They wasn't no dope fiends or nothing. They was just two youngsters that, you know, they were just there. They was from the LA area and shit. I forgot where they was from. Part of the LA area where they was from. So, but anyway. And so when the brother come back, you know what I'm saying, he wilding out on these white boys. Y'all finna get a bunk up, you know what I'm saying? We white boys, no, we, you know what I'm saying, we took that, no, y'all can't take a black bunk. This is what the Bay Area dude was saying. This is what I was screaming at first and shit. And the Bay Area dude was mad and the motherfucker didn't touch his shit. I would have been mad and the motherfucker they touched my shit too, you know what I'm saying? And so, and I'm riding with him like, that's what's up. But, you know what I'm saying, it's probably about 6 to 10 white boys and shit, and there's some Mexicans, but the Mexicans ain't got our backs and shit like that. And that's when I found out. The brother from the Bay Area told me Mexicans don't fuck with us no more than like that. The South Siders will run with the fight with the niggas and shit. Like, I mean, we'll fight with the North Indians now. You know what I'm saying, against the niggas and shit. And the Mexicans don't fuck with us like that. You know what I'm saying? That's when I found. I'm like, wow, this shit is new. You know what I'm saying? And so, make a long story short, the white boys gave that bunk back. You know what I'm saying? They didn't want the funk, you know what I'm saying? Because we already hollered at some cats on the yard. They was finna go up in that dorm over that bunk and shit. And so we ended up getting the bunk back. And so I ended up they moved me to another dorm. So I'm in another dorm. And and that's when I found out that some brothers was, you know what I'm saying, was, you know, the next dorm I moved to, it was Southsiders in the dorm. You know what I'm saying? That dorm I moved was North Angels. Now it was Southsiders in the dorm. And now I'm tripping off the North Angels ain't got our back. Niggas are just really on some up against this shit. So niggas really need to get together. It's on my mind and shit. Like niggas is just like, we ain't on it up in this motherfucker like everybody else. The Mexicans is together now and shit. We really need to get together. So I moved to this one dorm and there's a couple of Bay Area cats up in there. And I remember one of the Bay Area cats said, you know, when I moved in there, we got into it with these Mexicans already and shit like that. And, you know what I'm saying? And one brother said, like, we didn't really do nothing. It was against there's some niggas from wherever that was, you know, and they got on them niggas and shit, you know. And in my mind, I'm like, y'all let them niggas just get on them motherfuckers? You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? When we all riding together, I just didn't understand that. But yeah, that's some of that shit was going on when I was in Susanville. Brothers letting other brothers getting beat up. And I don't know why the brothers don't get together. Each brother from every section of California, you know what I'm saying, should have a leader or representative, you know what I'm saying. Everybody should come together, you know what I'm saying, 24/7 up at that motherfucking shit. But I don't know, it wasn't like that, man. And again, everybody was using that N-word. Youngsters being disrespectful, you know what I'm saying. It was just like, it was just ugly, man. I'm talking about using that N-word and talking the way they talk. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't like that when I was in prison. It was a lot more, when I was in prison a long time ago, it was a lot more respect and shit like that. I told you, get DP using that N-word loosely like that and calling each other bitches and hoes and shit like that. We wasn't doing that shit, but you know what I'm saying? Them niggas was doing that shit up in there, man. Crazy in the motherfucker. Smoking on that Draymond Green. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, that's my story, man, on that one, man. But like I said, niggas need to get their shit together if it's still like that up in there or in the world anywhere. Niggas really need to get together, man. And you know what I'm saying, and start really getting each other's backs, man. Because if we ain't got each other's backs, you know what I'm saying, then who's got us and shit? You know what I'm saying? It's like, you know, if we come together and be more structural towards, you know what I'm saying, our own unity, then other motherfuckers might respect us a little more and shit. You know what I'm saying? But niggas handle their own. Niggas come together like butt cheek when the funk gets, you know what I'm saying? Some niggas run and shit like that, but niggas will come together and shit. But for the most part, man, it ain't a lot of unity, you know what I'm saying, amongst the brothers and shit up there in them prison systems and out there in the world, man. So I think we all need to come together, brothers and sisters alike, man, some kind of way, man. Make this unity stick, man. Right beat, 300 motherfucking trick, one love. Now, real quick, also when I was in Susanville, brother, you know, the dorm I was in that had the Southsiders in it, the one I just moved to, whole bunch of Bay Area cats was up in there. And one Bay Area cat told me that, he had just moved in there and shit. Cool ass motherfucker. I forgot his name. I had us hook up and I lost it and shit like that. Wish I would have kept the brothers hooked up. Cool than a motherfucker. He was more on my level with understanding like what's going on. He gave me a lot of game about what was going on in the system. He had been locked up 16 years at this point. And he was getting ready to go home and shit. And like a couple years later, something like that, and he was going to school and all that shit. Brother was cool. But anyway, brother gave me some game and shit. And it was like now the Southsiders had a decree now, or that they can go to court and point out niggas and shit, right? And I was tripping like they can like snitch on niggas and shit, and they don't be considered a rat and shit like that. They say, yeah, they can do that and shit. And I don't know if that still exists and shit. And if it is, it's some real sucker shit. I don't know who made that happen and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? I know niggas can be some assholes and shit like that. Niggas can be some assholes. Niggas really need to get their shit together, man. Niggas can be some assholes, and we do need to be more respectful towards one another and have each other's back to a certain degree. But you know what I'm saying? We hating on each other, then you know what I'm saying, to make other motherfuckers hate on us more easier. And but anyway, you know. But if Mexicans is still doing that, man, that's some real sucker shit. And I was watching this video one time. This Mexican, he was talking this shit like, you know what I'm saying? Brothers need to keep the business out the mouth of Southsiders and all this old type shit. And it was like, we don't talk about you fools. We don't talk about when we kill you fools and all this old shit and all this old shit. And I'm like, you dissing this shit like on the down low. And every time I watch some Southsider videos when they talk about some of the shit, and they really don't go in on stories, but they really be sneak dissing and shit like that, man. If you motherfucker don't want no dissing, then don't say shit. You know what I'm saying? Then don't sneak diss and shit like that. Motherfuckers can get along with shit like that, because brothers, you know, we just ignorant than a motherfucker. Y'all know we ignorant than a motherfucker and shit like that. But we can love on you. You know what I'm saying? But just watch niggas. Don't just trust every nigga. Like, we don't trust everybody. Just don't trust everybody. You know what I'm saying? Don't make every nigga bad and shit. Just don't trust everybody. You know what I'm saying? Just like you just can't trust everybody. Everybody got some stupid motherfuckers in their goddamn race and all this old type shit. So, you know what I'm saying? Don't get mad at all the niggas because certain niggas make you mad and all this old shit. And I don't know how whatever, you know what I'm saying, that some of the hatred for niggas is and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? But for whatever reason and shit. You know what I'm saying? If they was doing that, still got that thing that they can go to court on motherfuckers and shit, point niggas out and they ain't consider snitching and shit like that. That's some sucker shit, man. That's some sucker shit, man. But if not, you know what I'm saying, and I apologize and shit like that. But you know what I'm saying? It's all respect, man. And yeah, that was my story about the Susanville trip, man. And taught me a lot, that trip, man. Taught me that hey, man, you got to get your shit together. Never be back at this motherfucker ever again. Like me, to be on the trip. Now check this out real quick. I gotta say this shit. It's on my mind. Like, what's a real nigga? Heard a nigga say, I'm a real nigga. I'm a real one. Or a real gangster. I'm a real one. I'm a real one. You know, real what? You know, real nigga, real. What does that mean? What does being real mean? Like, I'm a real G. I'm a real gangster. You know, he ain't no real gangster if he's snitching.